Totally. Well, I'm going to do my best with that inspiration. Totally. Let's see what you've brought to the stage. Okay, so find a comfortable seat and sit up in a way that you can, your spine can be tall, long, without any rounding or kinks. And then close your eyes and put your hands on your thighs. And one of the things, so let's take a breath. Nice deep breath in. And a long breath out. So we've kind of already started to move into our time and space together, but let's just pause and make this a very conscious transition into this time together. So we'll just take 3 deep breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Relaxing your jaw, your shoulders, your eyes, and your forehead. Exhaling out the mouth again. Relaxing the arms, the hands, the feet, your glutes. Another deep breath in. Exhaling out the mouth. Soften into the belly and the hips. Feel a little weight in your legs. And then find an even centered breath in and out through the nose. Even though we tend to identify most with our physical, the most physical aspect of us, we're so many layers of subtlety. And to help us harmonize those subtle energies, we'll just share in sound, and we'll make the sound ah. The sound ah helps our heart to digest and transform information, feelings and thoughts, ideas and memories. And this ability to digest helps the heart also communicate with our brain and our nervous system a little bit more efficiently. So let's take the right hand on top of the heart and then the left hand over your right hand. So we're activating the lunar channels in the body. We'll take a deep breath in to begin our sound. We'll do this sound 3 times. Ah. Gently bring the chin towards the chest. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and rub them together vigorously. Create some heat in the palms. And then cup your palms over your eyes. And gently open the eyes and take 3 deep breaths, just looking into the darkness of your hands. Softening the eyebrows and the forehead. And even softening the temples. With the next exhalation, just start to pull the hands out in front of your face, looking into your palms. Good, and then reach the arms all the way out and just kind of offer your hands out into the universe. From here, expand the arms out to the sides. Take a deep breath in, lift the chin, draw the shoulder blades together behind you, open your heart. And then exhale, bring the fingertips to the floor behind you. Lean back just a little bit as you exhale. And then inhale, lift the chin again, expanding across the front of the heart, opening up the collarbone. Good, and then exhale, bring the hands back together right in front of your heart. Good. From here, let the hands rest in your lap. And you can have the palms down or up. Okay. And just continue to breathe deeply. I'm going to share a little bit, kind of building off of your inspiration, Maria. Okay, so we know we have in Ayurveda the three dosha, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And we know that there are two or three, usually just one, that tend to govern dominantly in our system, right? We all have all three of the dosha, but we tend to have one or two that are the dominators in the scenario. And through our diet and lifestyle and through the environment and seasonal changes and our interactions with our friends and community, those dosha, their job is to maintain homeostasis. They're constantly kind of rocking and communicating and handing back and forth and having a kind of play of their own to maintain homeostasis or balance in the body. And when we think about them, we kind of villainize them. Like, my vata is so high because it's been windy and I'm traveling and I ate potato chips. And now my pitta is aggravated because I'm getting frustrated and angry. And there's this kind of like, almost as if we're upset that these dosha have so much control over us. But you can switch that perspective and remember that as conscious beings, as manifesting beings, we have the ability to work with the dosha and to use them to our benefit. So I bring this up because you mentioned, Maria, that you go through parts of your day where you need a little bit more creativity and then you need a little bit more grounding. And so to get some of those aspects, we want to not necessarily manipulate, but we want to work with the dosha. We want to work with the positive qualities of them to harness the good qualities that they result in. So, for example, to be super creative and in the flow, to be in that place where you can just write and write and write and write, you want to have a fair amount of vata active because that allows for the clarity and the creativity, the mobility of ideas to come. And but you also have to ground them so that they don't quickly slip out, right? So there's a play of the vata, pitta. The pitta is like kind of doing the understanding of organizing the ideas that you're having and putting them into place, and kapha is grounding you. So just thinking of ways that we can gently activate vata, pitta, and kapha, because we're always talking about how we're managing them and how we're lowering them and bringing them back into balance, but sometimes we need them. Okay, so one of the ways that you can just pause in your day and take a moment to foster a bit of creativity, get some prana in your body, and ground yourself all with one activity, that's going to be just focusing on your breath, your pranayama, because that connects and balances all three of the dosha. So we'll start with that, and we'll do just something very, very simple that you can do, just take 5 minutes away from your computer, sit down, and just start with a very deep diaphragmatic breath. And that means that as you inhale, your belly can relax, right? So there's no inhibition about letting your belly just kind of fall out. It has to, as the diaphragm moves down to allow space for the lungs to fill. So find some relaxation in your pelvic area, in your waist, in your hips, and in your belly. And maybe even turn your palms up a little so you still have you even more foster the attitude of surrender. And take 3 breaths. As you inhale, feel the belly expand, feel the ribs stretch, and as you're at the top of that breath, the shoulders will rise just a little bit. And then as you exhale, the belly comes back in, the shoulders come back down, the belly button kind of moves back towards the spine, and then again we inhale, and there's all this expansion in our torso in all directions. And then you exhale, and you can feel everything contract and coming back towards center. Inhale again, feel that expansion. Even feel the back of the ribs and breath coming into the kidneys and behind the shoulder blades. And then exhale, squeeze the belly button towards the spine. Lengthen your spine, sit up tall. Good. This breath is called Dirgha Svasam, and it's called a 3-part diaphragmatic breath. And it's just a very grounding breath. And it helps to activate the parasympathetic part of your nervous system. So it activates the vagus nerve to tell your parasympathetic nervous system to come back to a state of resting and digesting. Good. Now we'll move into Anuloma Viloma, which is alternate nostril breathing. We inhale through one side, exhale out the other, inhale, and then exhale. just in that pattern. And this helps to light up, it fires up the different hemispheres of the brain, which helps to activate this body-brain connection, and also brings more balance to the whole system, and allows for a healthy amount of creativity because we're getting regularity in the movement of the breath, right? So even though we have movement, we still have some stability. So we're going to make Vishnu Mudra with the right hand. Yeah. Close your right nostril with your thumb and inhale through the left. Close both, pinching off the left side with your ring finger. Open the right side and exhale. Good. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Good. Keep breathing like this. The idea, though, is that you still want to be doing that full diaphragmatic breath, right? So we're feeling the belly expand, the ribs stretch, the shoulders rise, and then as you exhale, the shoulders drop, the ribs contract, and the belly comes back in. Good. Now see if you can slow it down just a little bit. Good. And the next time you come to exhale through the left side, let that finish, and then return your breath to normal and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, in your mind's eye, I would like you to see an image of Earth, as if you were looking at Earth from outer space. And I want you to imagine that the Earth is spinning at a rapid speed. Very, very fast. And as you see that kind of spinning very, very fast and it feels very out of control, I want you to start to slow it down. Slow it all the way down so that it comes to a complete stop. Take a breath. And now with control, start to let the earth spin again, but we're only going to let it get to a revolution of 1 or 2 per breath. And in your mind's eye, we're just seeing the earth spin. 1 or 2 revolutions per breath. Very controlled, very steady breath. Go ahead and bring your hands together in front of your heart one more time. Rub the palms together, create that heat. Sit up nice and tall, cup the palms over the eyes, 2 breaths in and out. Blink the eyes a few times as you lower your hands back to your lap. Great. So just pausing here so we can transition into the next portion, but that little breathing exercise and visualization technique is a great one to use when you need to foster your vata without kind of spinning out some of the qualities that can make us feel really ungrounded. So it's a grounded way to work with vata. Okay. So from here, let's go ahead and move on to our hands and knees and shift the hips back into child's pose for 3 breaths. Keep your arms stretched out in front of you, elbows lifted away from the floor, but your forehead can rest down. And imagine that you're reaching down and back with your tailbone, that you could touch the soles of your feet with your tailbone. And then take a breath or 2, reaching out from your shoulders. We tend to feel like reaching from our elbows a lot, but reach from your shoulders and lift the palms away from the floor, coming up onto the fingertips. Good. And then inhale, come up to your hands and knees. Exhale, shift back to child's pose. So we're going to use our breath, and we're going to move in and out of child's pose. This is a very helpful movement to start doing if you've been sitting in your chair for too many hours. And so many things can start to happen when we sit for too long. We can get constipated, we can get hemorrhoids, we can have tingling or numbness in the limbs because we're not moving our circulatory system. So just taking a moment, getting away from the desk and shifting back and forth through child's pose, but using your breath to initiate those movements, you can start to increase the circulation or the Vyana Vayu aspect of Vata. Okay, on the next one, we're going to stay up. Good, and then bring yourself into proper alignment. Maybe just shift side to side, bring the knees underneath the hips and the hands underneath the shoulders. And start to move back and forth through cat-cow. So rounding the back, drawing the tailbone underneath, push the floor away from you. Protract your shoulders. Again, push away with your shoulders. Draw the chin to the chest. Good. Inhale, lower the belly. Draw the chin up. As you lift your chin, draw the toes underneath. And then exhale, round the back. Bring the tops of the feet to the floor. Bring the chin to the chest. Inhale, lengthen. One more time, all the way back, tops of the feet flat on the floor. Really contract your abdominal muscles, pull the belly up. Inhale, lengthen, draw the toes under. Now from here, bring your knees together and your feet together. Bring the heels together as well. And then you've got your toes turned under. We're going to walk back, bring the hips back to the heels, and just push into your hands. Maybe you can feel the knees lift a little bit. And you should feel a good stretch in the lower portion of your calf muscles. Really reach out through the shoulders, lifting the knees away from the floor, almost like we're trying to do a down dog, but just having the knees an inch off the floor. Good, now set your knees down and walk your hands back so that you come to sit kind of on the balls of the feet. Yeah, that's great too. You can totally come and just play right in here. You want to feel a good stretch in the bottoms of the feet. Yeah, and you should feel a good stretch like right in this area in your calf muscle. All right, coming back to the hands and knees. Walking the hands out in front of you. Stretch your right leg back behind you and rotate the ankle. Good. Go the opposite direction. Good, and then just bring your heel to your glute a few times, kind of kicking your bum. Good, and then bring the knee down. We're going to start to open up the hip. What I want you to do is inhale, reach back, and then exhale, bring the knee up and over. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, bring the knee up and over. One more time, reach back, up and over, and then set the knee down. Extend your left foot back behind you. Lift the foot away from the floor and rotate the ankle. Continue to push the floor away from you, so don't sink into your shoulders. Protract them, push out from the shoulders. Go the opposite direction with the ankle. My ankle's getting confused. And then heel kick 3 times, warming up the knee joint. Good, and then bringing the knee down, we'll start to warm up the hip, reach back and sweep up and over. So kick back with the foot and then externally rotate the hip, draw the knee up and over. So let's do that 2 more times. Great. Okay, coming back onto the hands and knees. From here, we're going to press into our first downward dog and just pedal out the feet gently. Good. Okay, from here, take a look up at the space between your hands and walk the feet all the way to the top of the mat. Good. Gentle bend in your knees. Take a hold of the elbows and just swing your torso side to side. Good. From here, just pause, shake the head no, a little yes, and then walk yourself up the fronts of the legs. Step your feet apart and swing the arms side to side. Good. And stepping up at the top of the mat, You're going to reach your arms out in front of you and just stretch the webbing in between your fingers, and then squeeze, stretch, and squeeze, stretch, squeeze. Good, and then hug your thumbs and rotate the wrists. Am I looking at the wrong camera? Good, and then go the other direction. Good, and then just touch the opposite shoulder with the opposite finger a few times. This is really good for your nervous system. Good, and then bring fingertips to the tops of the shoulders and do a few rotations into the shoulders. Good, and then forward, touching the elbows out in front of your nose. Good, okay. So, another little chunk. I don't know if we'll actually cut the video up this way, but from child's pose to standing, we've gotten a nice warm up into our body. So if we have been sitting, we could have just done that little sequence and then gotten, back to work, but still gotten some movement in the hips. We'll take that into consideration, the kind of sitting a lot and being whatever you're working on. It seems like most of us these days, not just Maria, we're on the computer a lot. And so there's a kind of rounded, collapsed aspect happening in our structure. So we'll keep that in mind as we move through. Okay, coming up to the top of your mat. I'm going to step back just a little bit. So we're going to just work with the breath a little bit more and kind of get out any leftover stagnation. So we're just going to start swinging the arms up and down. And I want you to find that the breath starts to coordinate with the arms. So as you breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in as you swing the arms up. Exhale the arms down. All right, we're going to add some more movement. All right, inhale up. Exhale, drop into the knees, swing the arms down. You might even sweep the floor. And then forward, inhale, stand up, reach up. Exhale out. All right, inhale, stand up, reach up. Exhale your arms by your side. All right, so we've gotten the blood flowing just a little bit. We're going to incorporate with that same movement, lion's breath. So now we'll inhale, and when we exhale, it's so really getting out any leftover kind of kapha, sluggishness, stagnation that we can get from spending too much time being stable. All right, so just get the arms going. The breath will tend to coordinate on its own. Here we go. I'm going to inhale up. Good. Reach up. Exhale your arms down by your sides. Let the breath settle. Unlock your knees. On the next exhalation, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take another deep breath in, breathing all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, breathe out all the way down to the soles of the feet. Inhale up to the crown of the head. Exhale to the soles of the feet. Inhale to the crown of the head as you release your arms down and then up, reaching all the way up, look up. Exhale all the way down the body as you fold and hinge forward, bringing the hands to either side of the feet. Hands touch at the bottom of the breath. Inhale, lift your spine up halfway. Look just a little bit in front of your mat. And then exhale, bring the belly closer to the legs. Inhale, step your right foot back and let your right knee come to the floor. We want to keep our hands down or on blocks, but your belly should find a nice connection to the top of your left thigh. Take another deep breath in here as you sink into the hips just a little bit and look forward, not necessarily up, just forward. And then exhale, lift that back knee and step back into downward facing dog. From here, inhale, shifting forward into this high push-up position. Again, protracting the shoulders, so pushing out from the shoulders. And then bring the knees down, still pushing out from the shoulders. Start to bend the elbows as you bring the chest and chin to the floor. Slide the feet back. Anchor your pubic bone and lift your heart gently. Good. Exhale, bringing the hands back by the ribs, coming up through the hands and knees, and then exhaling all the way back into downward dog. Draw the gaze up to the space between the hands. Inhale deeply and step your right foot forward in between the hands. This time, bring the left knee to the floor. Take a deep breath in as you sink into the hips and look forward, connecting the right side of the belly with the thigh, activating the ascending colon and the liver and gallbladder. Exhale, lift that back knee, step to the top of the mat, and empty the breath as you fold your body towards the legs. Draw the chin to the chest, look up at the back of the legs. Good. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, fold. Now take the arms out to the sides as you come all the way up to standing. Reach up to look up, and exhale back to the heart. Inhale, release your hands by your sides, expanding, opening across the front of the chest. And then exhale, bring the hands back together. Inhale, reach the arms out and up, look up as you reach up. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips as you come all the way down, bringing the hands on either side of the feet. Good. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Planting your hands firmly on either side of the feet. Inhale to step the left foot back and bring the left knee to the floor. A deep breath in here as you look forward and sink the hips down. And then exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. Reaching the heels towards the floor, but not necessarily locking out the knees. Reaching out from the shoulders. Inhale, draw yourself forward in this high push-up position. Push out from the shoulders. Lower the knees down, and then bring the chest and chin down between the palms. Slide the feet back, anchor the pubic bone, and lift your heart gently. Then slide the hands back by the low ribs and come up to the hands and knees. And then exhale into downward facing dog. Look up at the space between the hands. Draw the left foot forward, right foot knee comes down. Inhale, look forward as you sink that right hip down. Exhale, lift the back knee and step the right foot to the top. Empty the breath as you fold over the legs. Inhale, lift the spine halfway, maybe taking the hands to the fronts of the shins. Exhale, surrender and fold. Softness in your knees, take the arms out to the sides as you come all the way up with a strong belly, strong back. Reach up, look up. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, release your hands at your sides, expand across the front of the chest. And then exhale, bring the hands back together. This time, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift up onto your toes. Nice and high. Exhale the heels down, release the fingers and hinge forward as you bring the hands to either side of the feet. Again, inhale, just a gentle lift here. And exhale as you step the right foot back and bring the knee to the floor. This time, bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Bring the elbow down, don't keep it up. And then just look back over your left shoulder and see if you can see your right heel. Yeah, so up and over the shoulder. So you're looking here, peekaboo. Bring your elbow down, and then look up and over. See if you can see it. And if maybe you're just kind of looking out across the left shoulder and you're peeking out of the corner of your eye. Okay, bring the hands back to framing the left foot, lift the back knee, and step back to downward dog. Take a breath here. And then inhale, draw yourself forward. And this time, draw yourself way forward so that the shoulders come just in front of the fingertips. And start to lower down to the tops of the thighs. Bend into your elbows as you resist gravity with the triceps and lower down into a high Bhujangasana. Still, my pubic bone and hips are anchored to the floor. Good. Draw the toes under, press up to the hands and knees, and back to downward dog. Good. Looking up at the space between the hands, step the right foot forward and bring the left knee down. This time bring the right hand to the top of the right thigh, elbow down, and look over the right shoulder. Again, I'm not sinking into my shoulder or my elbow on this side. I'm lifting up and out through my spine. My legs are active. I'm getting a nice massage into the digestive system. And coming back, framing the right foot, lift that back knee, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, step to the front of the mat. And then empty the breath as you connect the torso with the thighs. Maybe looking back at the ceiling behind you, drawing the chin to the chest. Good. Inhale, release, take the arms out and up as you come all the way up. Reach up, look up. Exhale to your heart. Inhale and expand. Exhale, hands together. Inhale, interlace, lift up onto the toes. Nice deep breath in, really reach up, lift up high. Exhale the heels down and hinge forward. Hands come to either side of the foot. This time step the left foot back. And this time bring the knee down again. Good. And from here, we're going to draw back. So draw the right toe away from the floor. And we're coming into this high runner stretch. Good. You want to feel like you're really pressing your right heel down. And then as if you could drag it back towards the right hip. Really activate all these muscles in the back of the hamstring. Good. A little bit more. Good. And then from here, just bring your hands to the inside of your right foot and swing it back behind you. And we're in downward facing dog. Hands and knees, and then to downward facing dog. Good, shifting all the way forward. Remember, we're coming onto the tops of the thighs here. Activating the triceps as we resist gravity, rolling the torso down, coming to the last or bottom rib, and then holding the chest up. Take a deep breath in here as you draw the elbows and shoulders back. Press up to your hands and knees, and then back to downward dog. Looking up at the space between the hands, step the left foot forward, right knee comes down, and again, draw the left foot up, press the left heel down into the mat, and drag it back towards you. Good, arms are nice and wide, we're up on our fingertips, moving the torso towards the left shin. Good, from here, take your hands back out in front of you. Shift yourself back forward, lift the back knee, and step to the top of the mat. Empty the breath. Whew. Inhale, take the arms out and up as you come all the way up. Reach up, look up, and then exhale to your heart. Great. All right, inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, take the arms all the way down. Hands on either side of the feet. From here, walk back into downward facing dog. Bring the feet together as if they were the top of a pyramid. Then lift up onto your toes and flip your heels to the right side. You want to think of really reaching down through the outer edge of this left foot and pressing into your left palm. So you stretch the whole left side of the body from the back of this left elbow all the way down to the back of this left heel. Reach and stretch. Good, and then flip over to the other side. This time reaching and stretching through the right side. Really pressing that right foot down. Good, inhale, come back to downward dog. Bring your knees to the floor and shift back into child's pose. Take 5 deep breaths. Softening into the hips and into the belly. Allow the mind's attention to start coming inwards as we move towards some floor postures. Good. From here, we're going to shift up onto the hands and knees, and then just walk down to the elbows and lower the whole body to the floor. Coming into Sphinx pose. So elbows are underneath the shoulders. Your hips and your pubic bone are nicely grounded. You can lift up and out of your heart as you press down into the elbows. Good. Nice wide fingers as you pull the heart forward, lifting the chin ever so slightly, opening up across the front of the chest. Take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, walk your arms all the way out, bringing the palms together up on top of the head. Forehead rests on the floor. Soften your hips and just shimmy side to side. Good. From here, come back into Sphinx pose. And then parallel your arms underneath you. Let's see. We're actually going to come back into Sphinx pose. And then walk your hands like 1/2 length forward, right? And maybe hips need to go back a little bit. We're coming into Makrasana, but I don't want your elbows, your shoulders to be fully reaching out like this. I want you to have a little angle here so that the neck can relax. So that in this position, I am kind of hanging into my shoulders, but the way that they're positioned makes it really safe. And it's really a nice relief for the cervical spine. Good. To make this even more relaxing, take your legs and turn the toes out and connect the upper inner thigh to the floor. It brings a cooling yet grounding effect into the body. This is great for both Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Take a few more deep breaths here. Great. Okay, go ahead and take your legs back behind you. We're going to come back into Sphinx pose. And then we're going to just turn the right arm parallel to the short edge of the mat, bending into the left leg. We're going to reach back for this heel, maybe the top of the foot, whatever feels accessible. And you may just grab the leg of your pants and pull the heel towards the glute. You want to keep pressing down through that right elbow so you don't sink into the shoulder, and then opening up that shoulder, kind of maybe even looking back towards the heel. If it feels comfortable, you can spin your hand to the top of the foot and really pull the heel into the glute. This is so good for the digestive system, even though it feels like we're working in the thighs mostly. We're really activating some strong marma points in the lower abdomen. All right, go ahead and release here. Gently let that foot go back. Take a moment coming back through Sphinx, finding some balance in the shoulders and the elbows. And then parallel the left arm, bend the right knee, take a hold of the right leg, foot, ankle, pant, whatever you got, and gently pull the heel towards the glute. So Maria, one of the things that's kind of coming to my mind is like how we get Vata going so that we can be creative, but this still needing to be grounded. Okay, go ahead and release this foot back. And let's just walk all the way out again, coming into this pranam posture, and relax. Take a moment, bend the knees, shift the feet side to side. Good, and then just you can take your knees a little bit wider, and then just let the feet kind of click together. They kind of fit together really nicely, and let them relax there as you rest your forehead on the floor. All right, so back to the concept of Vata and Kapha, is that you have to make your transitions with so much intention. And I think that's why we started that way with the class. So if you're working on the computer and then you have to go walk the dogs, or you have to go make dinner, or you have to transition to something else, that you take a moment, a few deep breaths, maybe you even state your name so that you reground back in your body, and then you go on to that next activity. And that will help you to be fluid and creative, but it won't whack out Vata so much because you'll move from one thing to the other with more intention. Okay. All right, from here, go ahead and bring your legs all the way back down and arms at your sides. We're going to do a little variation of Shalabhasana. So I want you to interlace your hands behind your back. And you can play with having the left or right thumb on top, just depending on what activity you need. What energy you need to activate, the solar or lunar. And then reach back into the arms, into the elbows as you lift the chin, chest, and heart away from the floor. And if it feels comfortable for you, if you're feeling nice and strong here, you can lift the legs away from the floor. And keep reaching back into the elbows, lifting the heart, and take a couple deep breaths. This is such good practice for our nervous system when we get into these postures that are a little bit more challenging, but we're able to still maintain a steady breath. Is really, really, really good work for our nervous system and our whole brain-body connection. Okay, go ahead and relax, coming all the way down. Turn your cheek to one side and just rest for a breath. And turn your head to the other side. Take a couple breaths. Good. Forehead on the floor. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press up to the hands and knees and back to child's pose. Child's pose is a great transition pose. You could get off the computer, get into child's pose for 5 minutes, and then go make dinner. Seriously, that would be a great practice. I know that sometimes around here, if we've been on the computer for like all day long, the transition from getting off to being a, loving, compassionate human being takes a little bit of time. There's kind of some frying and very pitta aggravating activities or gunas about being on the computer. Okay, go ahead and walk yourselves up, coming to sit on your heels. And we'll just shift and swing the legs out in front of us. All right, let's start with a modification of Janu Sirsasana, just bringing the right foot in and keeping it parallel to the left leg. And then I like to kind of take my left hand behind me, lift my hip up a little bit, and pull this flesh away. Keeping my left hand back behind me, let's inhale the right arm up, nice and deep breath in. And then exhale, reaching forward for the left foot. Good. And keep using your left hand out here as support. As you flex your left foot, you can reach for the ball of the foot, the toes. Maybe you're just at your shin, whatever feels comfortable for you. Your right hip will lift, that's okay. Just keep activating this left leg and reaching the crown of your head towards the toes versus like looking and trying to pull your heart forward. Reach forward with the spine. Good. Inhale, come up. We'll shift sides. Right hand's back behind you. Go ahead and readjust the flesh. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, reaching forward, folding over the right leg. Right arm is out at your side. Keep kicking your right heel away from you, getting a nice deep stretch along the back side of the right hamstring. Reaching forward through the crown of your head. Let's take 2 more steady breaths. Really press the back of the leg down into the floor as you sit all the way up. Extend both legs out and just shake them out a little bit. Good. And then bring the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. You may or may not want to block out in front of you or maybe under the knees. So we're just going to take a hold of the fronts of the shins. Inhale, lift your heart, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, gently round the back so that the arms are like a suspension. Bring the chin to the chest. Good. Inhale, lift the heart. Look forward, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, gently round the back. So by holding on to the fronts of the shins, you don't roll onto your sacrum. You stay on your sits bones. Inhale, lift. And this time, exhale, walk your arms forward. Maybe coming onto the elbows. Maybe we're on blocks. And wherever you are, start to draw the chin towards the chest and really allow yourself to take a feeling, a look, a sense at the breath and the heart rate. Withdrawing your awareness away from the fingers and toes into the center of the body, at the heart and the belly. Take 3 more nice deep breaths here. Maybe walk down a little bit further, opening up into the hips more. You can just practice this posture to get yourself ready to sit all day. And just kind of moving through the sequence of some hip opening postures before you sit down for work is a great practice. Okay, go ahead and walk yourself right back up. We're going to take the hands to the outsides of the knees and just help the legs come back up and step them out to the width of your mat, and then take your hands back behind you. And we're going to do that. I think we called it the Cleopatra twist last time. I don't really know what the name of it is. I just love the way it feels. So we're going to start by just kind of swaying the knees side to side, kind of like we're doing the reclined windshield wiper action. Good. And then go ahead and take your legs all the way over to the left. And then inhale your right arm up and over. Bring it down to the floor, and then just look back over your left shoulder. So we get a really nice twist all the way up the spine. Good. Inhale, open. Good. Coming back through this nice wide leg position, kind of big frog legs. And then exhale, bring the left arm all the way over. And look back over your right shoulder. It's really doing this wringing out kind of activity in the spine. So inhale, open up. We're going to do it one more time on each side. Exhale over to the left. Good. It's nice to get it flowing. Let's do that actually. Inhale, kind of sweep over to the right side. We'll do it one more time. Inhale back over to the left. Good. And then let's finish right in the center. Good. Bring the knees back up. And from here, go ahead and take a hold of the fronts of the shins and just roll all the way down. And come to a reclined position on the floor with your blocks next to you. Good. Okay. From here, let's go ahead and prepare for Setu Bandhasan bridge pose. So bringing the feet or the heels towards the glutes, making sure the back of your head is comfortably positioned on the floor, arms are at your sides. As you inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips up towards the ceiling, and then walk your shoulders underneath you and interlace the fingers behind the back. Press the arms down into the floor as you lift the hips up and away, stretching from the knees to the chest. And take 2 more breaths here. This is really good strength building for your legs. It's really opening and releasing of heat for Pitta Dosha, but grounding and stabilizing for Vata. And the challenge is great for Kapha. Good. Unlace your fingers. Walk the shoulders out. Set your tushy down. Good. From here, take your blocks. And we're just going to take them on their lowest height. So kind of laying down. Bring the hips up and slide the blocks underneath the sacrum. Good. And hopefully that feels very stable for you. The sacrum's that flat bone at the bottom of the spine. And then just bring one knee in and then the other. You can stay here or you can take the feet up. Good. And let even your arms be a little bit wider than normal so that you can really feel the weight kind of flood into the shoulders, right? Into the backs of the shoulders, into the tops of the shoulders. Let your jaw relax. Let's maybe move that around a little bit. Allow your tongue to be soft for a few breaths. Just kind of hanging out in the mouth. And on the next exhale, bend your knees. Bring the feet to the floor. Lift your hips away from the block. And then come down. All the way down for Shavasana. Taking your arms out to the sides. Take your feet a little bit wider than your hips. And just shake your body around. Roll the arms around, roll the feet around, roll the head around. And take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, flutter your lips. And then take a minute to let all of your awareness scan over the body. Offering some awareness, some attention, some breath to any part of you that finds itself still a little tense or stressed or restricted. Good. And now bring your right hand to the crown of your head and your left hand over your belly button. And just take 3 deep breaths and breathe in and out, back and forth through these 2 points. From the belly button to the crown of the head, back and forth, nice deep breaths. This is a simple self-marma sequence that you can do at any time of the day to help calm your nervous system, to relieve stress, and to bring a sense of groundedness. Good. From here, go ahead and just take a hold of the sides of your neck. You can feel your sternocleidomastoid mastoid muscle and just kind of massage the sides of the muscle. I'm just kind of squeezing or pinching either side of my neck, kind of back and forth. It feels very good. I'm going to do that a little bit on the tops of my shoulders, just kind of pinching the top of the trapezius. Good. And then bring your hands down and place the center of your palm right over your nipples. Where are they? And then take your 3 middle fingers and you're going to bring them to the center of your sternum and then slide them out so that they come on either side of the sternum, and press your fingertips into the intercostal space in between the ribs right there. If your hands at the center of your palm were kind of hovering right over the nipple and your fingers are gently bent, we're pressing into the space sort of 1 inch lateral to both right and left side of the sternum. And take 3 deep breaths here. Now place your left thumb in the center of your sternum and your middle finger right over the xiphoid process. Your left hand can just rest on your hips and take 3 deep breaths. Bring both hands down to your belly, anywhere that brings you comfort to lay your hands on the belly. And take 3 to 5 breaths here. And take a moment, wiggle your fingers and toes. And then bend the knees, place the feet on the floor. Good. And then from here, go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Draw the chin towards the chest, take the forehead up towards the knees. Wrap your arms around the fronts of your shins and give yourself a nice big hug. And just take a moment and thank all parts of you. Thank your highest self, your lowest self. Thank every point of consciousness throughout your whole body. Good. And then place your feet back down on the floor and gently roll to your left side. We're going to keep the right side active so that we stay awake and ready for what's left of our day. And then from here, gently press back up to a seated posture. Nice and slow, never moving too fast. That's all a transition, so we want to do it with as much awareness as possible. And just take a moment now and reflect on this time together from the moment we started, moving through any challenging postures, awakening the body, communicating with our body and finding a point of center and grounded feeling. And Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, gather your hands together in front of your heart and just take a moment to feel gratitude, to feel loved and worthy. We'll share the sound Om one more time just to close our space together. And then I encourage all of us to take 5 to 7 breaths before we get up off the mat and transition into whatever part of our day is next. And we'll leave you with that little closing message, inviting the breath in for Om. Thank you, Maria. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody. Bye.